Let's do some practice with this quadratic formula business. If you get kind of frustrated on this first one, make sure you check out the second one. This one, what I want to show you is how a simple beginning can get kind of crazy. And the second one I'll do in a second here is, it looks a little more complicated, but the answer is a lot nicer. So you can't always go by what the problem looks like to figure out how complicated the answer will be. Now, you do need to know how to do this type, so still give it a shot. I wanted to emphasize something that I pointed out in the lesson again. This is a 1 right here, 1x squared. A is 1. All right, this is a negative 1. If you need to fill that in, you can. Let's go ahead and maybe do that. You don't ever want to put a 0 there, because 0 means there is no x, or there is no x squared. If you put a 0 in front, that's what that would mean. And now 6 is your constant, your c. All right. Now again, write the formula at the top of the page if you need to, the quadratic formula. That'll make it a lot easier for you to reference it, maybe instead of writing it each time. So negative b, in this case negative 1, is positive 1. A negative 1 makes it positive. And then negative 1 squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. All right. And again, you'll notice that I'm going to go a lot faster with the work now compared to the first example I showed you. I really wanted to take it slow and break it down for you. Now I'm just making sure you know how to get to the answer. So negative 1 squared is positive 1. Negative 4 times 1 times 6, well, that's minus 24. 2 times 1 is 2. So 1 plus or minus the square root of negative 23 all over 2. We're just about done. There's not much more we can do. We do have a negative. We've got to deal with that. 1 plus or minus, bring that I outside the radical. You can't break down 23. It's prime, so you can give it a shot, but it won't work. And the answer is over top of 2. And that's all we can do. We have no common factors to divide with that 2. There's nothing more we can break down. That's it. Okay, and remember, that is 2 solutions. 1 plus I squared 23 over 2. 1 minus I squared 23 over 2. I said that fast because the plus or the minus is the difference maker. Now, discriminant, real quick. We can tell how many solutions there are right away by the discriminant, the thing under the radical. That's the discriminant again. Okay? And here's really where it counts. Once you have worked out what's underneath that radical, and you get a single number, that's a discriminant. If it's negative, no real solutions, which in this case means 2 imaginary. Well, in any case, if it's not real, it's going to be imaginary. Or probably ought to say it this way, to be technically correct, complex. Remember, a complex number is a combination of real and imaginary parts. So most imaginary numbers are technically complex. They have a real component also. So hopefully not too bad. Let's move on, try another one. Promise the answer will be a lot nicer on this problem. And we'll talk about the discriminant beforehand, so you'll hopefully see why. Before you get to an answer anyway. So A equals negative 3, B equals negative 5, C equals 2. All right, negative B, in this case positive 5, plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times negative 3 times 2, that A and C, all over 2 times negative 3. Okay, so I'll work it out, and by the time I get to the discriminant, we'll know how many answers we're going to have. So 5 plus or minus the square root. Negative 5 squared is 25. All right, negative 4, negative 3 is positive 12, times 2 is going to be plus 24. All over top of negative 6. So 5 plus or minus the square root of 49. This is shaping up nice. All over negative 6. All right, we have a discriminant. I'm not done solving, but they're going to want the discriminant in the book. Here it is. Start abbreviating it now. It's 49. All right, so ask yourself, is 49 bigger than 0? Yeah, so 2 solutions. That's all, as simple as that. If it's bigger than 0, 2 solutions. If it equals 0, 1 solution. And if it's negative or less than 0, then, well, no real solution, but 2 complex solutions. Okay, that's how it works out. That's going to be A and B in your homework. So 5 plus or minus, hopefully you know this one, square root of 49 is 7, all over negative 6. And let's go ahead and put 5. Actually, we're going to need to probably do 2 parts here. So here's how I'm going to recommend. 5 plus 7 over negative 6. 5 minus 7 over negative 6. It's actually going to work out a lot better this way. If you look back at some of the other ones we did in the lesson, or back to example 1, there's really no need to go 2 parts here because nothing will be able to be reduced. You're still going to have all these, the radical, the I, it's still going to be messy however you slice it. But with this one, now that we have a bunch of whole numbers for, well, we don't have too many like this, but when it happens, you might as well put them together and get nice answers. Okay, so 12 over negative 6 becomes negative 2. And then 5 minus 7, well, that's negative 2 over negative 6. That's a fraction, but it's still not too bad of an answer. There's my 2 solutions. So here's how this will look. If I put it on a graph, just to give you some idea what's going on, at 1/3, so about a third of the way to 1, there's a solution. And at negative 2, there's another solution. Now, I know from experience this is going to open up this way, look something like that. And pretty soon I'll teach you how you can know that too. All right, so as you can see, we went a lot quicker with this. And 7 minutes, I've done 2 of these. So once you practice a few, it'll get quicker, I promise. Just be careful. Make sure every step is you're taking your time, double checking. Remember, any simple mistake in the beginning, it just carries through and everything's wrong. So be very careful. Check your work as you go. Be careful not to make simple mistakes.